All right, what's going on, guys? I'm Bear Degidio. We are back with another episode of the Jackson Podcast. I'm sitting here with the greatest co-host of all time and one of my best friends, Rampage Jackson. Pleasure.
It's good to be back here. I haven't been in this studio in a couple of days. I've been busy doing movies and shit. Did you know I was going to do a movie?
Yeah, he's been getting fed grapes in a jacuzzi for 3 days, and he's been at Sharky's drinking out of fishbowl margaritas, almost beat up a dude for messing with your cameraman. I thought we lost you for a year. You would have been locked up for a year.
I didn't touch the guy. I just pushed him out.
Yeah, but the girl that was having, like, she was being possessed by the devil yelling at you, that girl, I thought you were going to do something crazy.
No, just cussed the flat booty bitch out. I don't care. No.
I thought she was going to slap you.
She I don't know what she was even upset about. She wasn't even inside there. I think she probably thought that I was bullying some guy or something.
Yeah, you don't look like a bully.
No, I don't. That's my problem. I don't like bullies. That the backstory is the cameraman had 2 girls that was trying to hit on him, and he didn't want nothing to do with that. And I think that one guy liked one of the girls, or with one of those girls, he came and just brutally bumped the guy out the way.
It's good you were there though to protect your camera.
I don't like bullies.
So the audience is probably wondering why we got no chairs over here, and I think we should probably tell them what we got going on.
I don't know why we don't got no fucking
So
chairs.
today we're doing our first episode of like MMA news. And what me and Rampage want to get back to is back to basics. When we started this show about a year and a half ago, we wanted to go and sit down with some of the best MMA talent of all time, some of the craziest fighters, some of the most intelligent fighters, some of the most iconic fighters. That's why me and Rampage came up with this show. That's why we spend all this money. That's why we fly in people. That's why we do this. We actually enjoy what we do. We enjoy doing this. And we're trying to build one of the best men's brand in the world, Jackson. We just dropped our brand new JX1, our chains. And in the process of building the brand, we wanted to do something fun throughout the day. Rampage being one of our, iconic fighters and our athletes and my co-host of the show, I felt like it was time to get back to basics. So once a week, I felt, hey, what would be good is kind of sit down. We talk about MMA news in real time, things that are happening, and then we put out the episode right away.
All right, let's do that. I like that idea because sometimes I'm gonna keep it 100. I love meeting a lot of fighters and stuff and learning about them. And this podcast got me back to loving MMA, and I'm watching it. I'm catching myself being excited to watch the cards and stuff like that. But I'm scared that we're gonna have another 45-70 moment here, and I'm gonna have to knock somebody the fuck out.
I've seen you get pretty close now to almost wanting to fight someone. Yeah,
because I was getting amped up for my fight with Rashad Evans, and I'm antsy. I'm antsy right now. I want to fight, man. I'm a fighter. It's a part of me. I gotta be careful what I say in front of
Have you talked to Rashad yet since the fight about the fight not happening? Have
you
talked to him?
Well, he was the one who lined everyone up with those people and stuff like that. So he said he had some other people that was interested, and I'm like, okay. But I'm getting antsy, man. I want to fight.
Are you interested in doing MMA?
No, I'm not interested. I want to box before I get too old. I'm fighting Father Time right now.
But I've been seeing you train jiu-jitsu. Recently, I saw you at one of these kids' classes.
It wasn't don't start that shit, bro. It wasn't no fucking kid class. The guy was just so happened to be like...
Wayne, pull the video. So I see
He wasn't no fucking kid. He was like a little bit shorter than you.
Okay, so you're with a 16-year-old.
That guy...
And first of all, I didn't know you were a blue belt. What kind of technique is this? What do we call this technique right here, Rampage? This is you spinning a man around, maybe a kid, by his ankles.
That's a grown ass man. I was at Junior Ghazi's gym. It's the reason why I went there. That gym is the first gym I trained at when I moved to California. I moved from Memphis to train at that gym. That was Fabiano Iha's old gym. Wow. And then Tito came with Team Punishment. That was everything started. Right. Where's
that gym located now?
In Huntington Beach.
Same place?
Same place, same spot.
Wow.
So I went back there, and I'm still a blue belt, and I haven't done gi jiu-jitsu in over 20 years.
Well, how was it putting on the gi?
It was weird. It was weird. I liked it. I liked it that day. It was good. I'm used to no gi, but then I haven't done jiu-jitsu in over 5 years, so I wanted to know how would I do, and so I went with another blue belt, and I did good, and then I went with a brown belt, and I did well.
When did you decide to use this technique? I don't know if maybe you learned this from Boss Ruin or Vanderlei, but spinning someone from their ankles.
Bro, I've been doing it for a long time.
That's a hidden secret technique?
There's a hidden secret, but you can't do it in MMA. They're too slippery.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're using the pants and his ankle?
Yeah.
I thought you were actually grabbing him by the gi.
I don't know, because the gi, I didn't want to pull his pants off like you be trying to do to your underlings over here.
Well, bro, when you're doing jiu-jitsu, anything can happen. You know that.
Yeah, I know. When you do jiu-jitsu, anything can happen.
But it's good to see you streaming. Good to see you active. Your Kick's going crazy. I see you got almost 12,000 followers on Kick.
Yeah, I started with 9 followers.
And now it's just going crazy.
Bro, we have fun on that. When you gonna come and do a stream with me?
I would love to. I think me and you should go shopping for the day. I think it would be incredible.
I'm not.
I'm
going
gonna take you to
with
all the stores I go shopping at.
No, I'm not.
And
going
then
shopping with you.
yeah, we are.
No.
Oh yes, we are.
No, we not.
Yeah, we're gonna.
No, we
yes,
not.
we are. So
you're not taking me shopping, buddy.
And then we'll go to your Vietnamese Thai shop down the road.
They won't let no cameras come in there though.
Really?
It would be that would be good.
Get in trouble.
Yeah, they won't let you do that.
I think when Boss Ruin comes back for his next episode, me, you, and Boss should go somewhere, and we should just vlog the whole day.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like if we three guys in Japan just mobbing around.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Let's jump into the first thing. So the first thing we got is Ilya set to fight for the lightweight title at UFC 317. They don't know who his opponent will be. Islam seems to be holding out for UFC 315 because if JDM wins, he'll likely move up and challenge him for the welterweight strap because the welterweight right now is being held by Bilal, and Bilal's one of their good friends and training partners. So I don't think Islam wants to move up if Bilal still has the belt. What do you feel about these guys kind of waiting and holding out? Do you think the UFC should kind of put their foot down and say, this is who you need to fight, this is what you need to do? Do you think Ilya can just do whatever he wants because he gave away his belt and moved up? What's your opinion?
Yeah, like I'm just not used to that. Like back in my day, we fought, but you got to respect. What's his name? Tapuris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to respect Tapuris because he's a man and he walked away from being a champion to move up the weight class. Why? Because he don't want to cut weight no more, or what?
No, I think he just wants a challenge. I think recently he just came out and he said that he wants to be a three weight division champion. He wants 3 different belts.
And then so he don't want to fight a contender. He want to go right to
the belt.
So you know what that means? He's getting ready to retire.
Already?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. After he does that, he's going to retire.
Well, you have a point there because he has been talking about wanting to fight in a very famous Spanish arena that holds 80,000 people. He obviously said that on Joe Rogan when they brought up the fact that he said you were one of his favorite fighters of all time.
No way.
Yes, he did. So I recorded this video clip because I knew you were going to say I'm lying. And I do want to give you your respect. And I do feel it's amazing when these fighters that are legends right now give you the respect you deserve. Because he said right here, Wayne, do you have the clip when Ilya goes on Joe Rogan and he talks about Rampage being his favorite fighter of all time?
Well, let me try to learn how to say his name right. Tapuritz.
Ilya Tapora. Ilya Tapora.
How you say it?
I think I posted it on the Jackson podcast page, right?
Ilya Tapora. We don't. Okay, I believe you. Let's move on. So he wants to fight in that big Coliseum in Spain.
Yeah. So I think he wants to do a massive fight in Spain. He wants to fight in this arena, kind of his hometown and where he's at right now. And
I think he deserves to get what he wants. But I'm just saying, you can see that he's setting up his legacy. Another thing about Ilya Tapuria is Tapuria is that I can see how strong his mind is. Have you guys noticed that?
No. What do you mean?
You haven't.
No, I mean I know he has a strong mind, but how do you see it differently?
Oh, the kid, whatever he says he's going to do, he does it. Like if he's in an interview and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna knock this guy out in the first round," I'm gonna believe it now. He calls it and he does it. Yeah, like when he knocked out Max Holloway.
Yeah,
and no one's done that. And I was watching that fight, and I didn't think he was going to pull it off.
Why is that?
Because Max Holloway got that dog in him.
I mean, Max Holloway is a dog, and honestly, I didn't think he would be able to knock him down like that.
No, I never would have. I can see how Tapuric was going to win that fight, but how you say it? Tapuria was going to win that fight because he got that dog in him too. But Max Holloway, man, you've seen so much of this kid. He's been fighting for so long, and before Tapuric, I thought Max Holloway had the best boxing in UFC at the time.
I think he still does. I mean, one thing that I think is interesting, you bring up Max Holloway. They just announced Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the BMF belt at UFC 318 in New Orleans, Louisiana, which will probably be Dustin's last fight. And he's obviously from Louisiana. What do you think about that fight?
Hold on. Why is it going to be Dustin's last fight?
Because I think that's going to be his last dance. I think he had said that recently, and then he had come out and done an interview, and then I think this is going to be the last one.
Has they fought? Have they fought before?
They fought twice, I think.
So this is going to be the third.
Yeah, they fought twice. Yeah, they fought
Vinny,
twice.
what's the record between them two?
Yeah.
DP won twice?
Dustin's won both times.
Oh, he's beat Max Holloway twice?
Yeah.
How?
First one, I think he submitted him. It was Max's debut fight.
Oh, okay.
The first two. Second one, Max stepped in on late notice for interim lightweight championship fight. It wasn't really a real 155er, just kind of fluffy.
Well, no, he did step in last minute though. So,
Okay.
not
So
that matters, but yeah, he won both times.
Oh, so they're gonna be for the BMF.
This is for the BMF.
And when are they planning on doing this?
So they plan on doing this at UFC 318 in Dustin's hometown in New Orleans, Louisiana. But for most people that don't understand the significance of it, it's also for the BMF belt, which could potentially give Max and Dustin another leap into either another division or retirement. Like that's why he's saying it's going to be his last.
What's so significant about the BMF belt? Though?
Yeah, I mean, what is your opinions of that? I mean, originally The Rock came out and brought it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And Nate Diaz and Masvidal, and then I mean, what do you think about the BMF belt?
I like it. It's cool. It's the BMF belt.
It was so exciting.
Why he asked me a question, then cut me off and show me some Joe Rogan shit?
He was the guy that put the sport.
This is for you, Rampage.
Because people would watch him. They go, "Jesus."
Yeah, that timeline of MMA was so fun.
It was
with
fun.
Rampage Jackson also.
Oh yeah, and when Rampage KO'd him, he became the man.
So they talk about the glory and the UFC, the golden age, and different times. And Ilya Taporia, you got me messed up talking about you were one of his favorite fighters to watch.
Oh wow, cool. That's cool.
That make you excited?
Yeah, because that do make me excited because I watched this kid fight and he has some great hands and I've seen some of his combos and now I'm watching his combos and I was planning on doing that shit to Rashad Evans.
Yeah, his boxing, even like TJ said, his boxing is so tight, so clean. And the way he puts together combinations, TJ was very impressed as well. And we talked about that yesterday when we were reviewing his tape because we did that TJ behind the scenes with the coaches. We had Nick Sick here and Dan Ige. One thing I want to know, though, when you talk about the BMF belt and being significant, do you feel like the BMF belt is as significant as a championship belt?
No.
Is it more of just I mean, obviously, I don't want to use the wrong terminology, but what do you feel is the need of it? Or what do you feel the point of it is? Or what do you feel the significance of it is?
I really don't understand. I really don't understand what's the significance of it is. I don't understand that, but I think it's good for entertainment, and you can be BMF champ. Can you be BMF champ and champ at the same time?
No one's done that yet, but that's a good point. I mean, in WWE, which I'm assuming the ideas maybe came from, they have Intercontinental, North American tag team, and they have multiple belts that run around WWE. So I'm assuming maybe that's where the idea spawned from, but I don't understand either how they position
but how did
that.
the first one come about? That was Nate Diaz and Jorge?
Nate Diaz and Masvidal. Was it The Rock, Vinny, that brought it out?
Yeah.
The first ever one for BMF? And Nate Diaz, Masvidal, and The Rock. Yeah. So I think it was The Rock's way of maybe working with the UFC because they had just done that Reebok deal.
So whose idea was it to make a BMF belt?
I don't know who the actual idea came from, but I know that the UFC basically co-signed it, right? And then The Rock came out with that shoe with Reebok and the UFC, and then The Rock walked out the belt, and Masvidal and Nate Diaz were fighting, and then Masvidal won.
Okay, here's my take. I don't think the BMF belt is a bad idea. I just think it's confusing.
Yeah.
I don't understand, what's the significance of it?
I think the BMF belt should be a Grand Prix belt, and I think it should be once a year. They bring the divisions and they let everybody win a Grand Prix belt.
Yeah, I wish the UFC would do like Grand Prix like Pride did. That'd have been dope.
Does a Grand Prix, is the significance of winning a Grand Prix just because of how many times you have to fight in one night, you think way better than like a UFC belt?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I really wish I would have won that Grand Prix I was in.
The one where Dana was sitting front row?
Man, bro, I almost won that fight. It haunts me still to today. It haunts me. That would have been dope to win a Grand Prix. You get the big ass Pride belt.
I mean, bro, the stack and the lineup to have in that Grand Prix, though, thinking about those types of fighters all fighting in one night must have been a pay-per-view heaven. But I don't know how Pride did it back then. Did they sell pay-per-views? Or was it free in Japan?
It was on Fuji TV in Japan, I'm sure. They had a big TV deal over there, so they didn't do pay-per-view over there.
Wait, Fuji TV, is that the one that the Yakuza owned? Or is that a deal? Or is that a rumor, conspiracy?
No. The Yakuza, they had ties with Pride, and that's how they lost the TV deal.
Got it.
With Fuji, like Japan was they were trying to basically do the same thing they did in Last Samurai. You remember the movie Last Samurai? You remember what was the gist of the movie?
Just like they wanted to get rid of everybody to rule
they wanted to get rid of the samurai.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, no Japanese person has ever confirmed this, but with the type of mind I got and the type of like nosy looking around research type shit I've been doing, and I figured out that the Yakuza are the samurai that went underground.
Wow. So the last remaining samurai then kind of formatted themselves into a organization of the Yakuza. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, if you ever seen the tattoos of the Yakuza, all of them got a big samurai on them.
Well, it's funny you say that because I know tattoos in some places of Japan for a long time, you weren't allowed to go into restaurants, weren't allowed to be seen in public, right?
Oh yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
If you got a tattoo, you can't go to the gyms.
Yeah.
You can't go to the bath houses, which is a big part of their cultures and stuff. Yeah.
And I've seen a Instagram reel one time that said that the reason why is the Japanese looked at tattoos as samurai armor. And you're the first one to ever make that connection because the armor wouldn't leave them and they would always keep it on when they were either in battle or protecting the king. So the tattoos is a way for people to say they're always in armor.
Yeah, maybe the samurais was the first ones to get tattoos over there. So that's why I think. But going back to what we talking about.
Yeah. No, that's crazy.
Now the BMF belt would make better sense to me if it was like a tournament style. If you had to beat, even though the UFC you can't do it. You can't fight 2 fights in one night because of the athletic commission, whatever. So what if they had like a bracket where you know who you're going to fight to get this BMF belt? Like they put like 8 people in this bracket. And when it all goes together, and like maybe you fight, you know how they have so many shows. Maybe you fight, and then 6 weeks later or 8 weeks later, you fight again.
Yeah.
And then you got the bracket, and then the winner of this tournament gets the BMF belt. Now that belt would make sense.
Who would you want to be in a bracket? You think if you had to choose 4 or 5 guys to be in this bracket for a BMF belt currently in the UFC?
What weight class?
Would you do any weight class?
I would do that for
every, by weight class?
I would do it every weight class.
Just take the top 6 guys from every weight class, throw them in a bracket, and then they win a BMF belt.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's like the play-in tournament for the NBA currently. They have a mid-season play-in tournament type of thing.
Then that BMF belt I would understand it more. Right now, I don't understand it. I don't understand the significance of it. Like, it's entertaining. Mm-hmm. They have 2 bad motherfuckers fighting for the belts. Okay. Mm-hmm. But then,
or maybe the BMF belt is a 1 round, 20-minute round, and then you let them just fight it that night.
See, that's where you get into like the rules and the commission and shit like that.
Yeah, but you're right. There needs to be a significance of the fighting style or the fighting format for that belt, and it'll separate it. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So next we have Conor says he's coming back to the UFC. It has to be in a stadium.
I don't believe him.
Should he just give it up already? Why isn't the UFC held an event in a stadium? And then Conor says, well, he still has 2 fights left on his contract, so he's in negotiations right now. Believe it or not believe it?
Well, now that you say he has 2 fights left on his contract.
That is confirmed.
Okay, so that's confirmed. And, you bind to fight on a contract and, Conor has a good relationship with the UFC and Dana White and stuff like that. So I don't see him like burning the UFC. But think about his last fight. He had like a real bad injury, and I know he's come back from it and everything. But that's why I asked Jorge right here. I say, hey, if you made $30 million for a fight, how many times would you fight? And Jorge's like, man, I fight as much as I can. Me too. I probably would too. But some people are like, man, do you know like how hard a training camp is? Do you know how hard a fight is? So most fighters, most MMA fighters, if they made $30 million, like they're retired, they're done. Like I'm done. And they'll go, if they're smart enough, they'll go invest the money and make the money work for them, stuff like that. The last thing they'll be thinking about is putting their body through that stress and through that pain. I think that MMA is the hardest sport on the planet.
I don't think anybody would disagree. It's also the most probably life-threatening, just for the damage you get later on in life.
No, boxing is boxing is more dangerous.
Yeah,
more boxers die than MMA.
Let's just say combat sports are probably the toughest things to do for your body.
But I say being an MMA fighter is second toughest job on the planet. I say number 1 is being a soldier, where you put your life at risk, where you can get shot and stuff on the war.
I agree. So do you think that Conor still has the fight in him though?
I think Conor is a natural fighter. He has it in him. I don't think Conor is I don't think he's one of those fighters I call like the athletes that was a fan of the sport. I think Conor is a true fighter. I've seen him You know, the kid got excellent hands, and he's an excellent fighter and stuff like that. But I just feel like, with all due respect, that nigga too rich.
You don't have the same work ethic, or you don't have the same will to want to go win and fight. You think when you get that much money,
It's hard to get out of bed when you sleeping
like
in
Rocky.
Silk pajamas.
Yeah. Who said that? Tarver,
No.
Bernard Hopkins,
No.
Roy Jones Jr. Someone
No.
said that, right? Famous
It was,
boxer. Who said that?
Hitman Hearns, I think.
Oh, okay. James.
think-
I thought it was James Toney. No, yeah, maybe Hitman.
I think it was Hitman.
But I mean, it is true. But don't you feel that Conor could still do damage? Like if they put him against Michael Chandler, for example, who's still a big name.
I wanted
or
to see
Paddy
that fight.
Pimblett. Like we want to still see Conor fight, right?
Yeah, I don't think they. Oh, him and Paddy, they're beefing right now.
They're both like that would be an amazing farewell fight to Conor if that's his last one, an amazing one to test Paddy after Paddy did what he did to Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's a phenomenal fighter, but Paddy really showed a different level of him in that fight. I believe his cardio was insane. I believe his ground game was insane. I think the way he applied pressure, I don't think people could see him stay on his feet that long.
Yeah.
And he kept his hands in front of him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like his style. Like TJ has said, his style is very unorthodox, but it works for him. That's what makes him different.
Yeah.
Then I start watching fights, and I'm obviously this year I told you I'm trying to take the fight game a little bit more serious with how we talk about it and what we look at.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he has a lot of technique that works for him, right? You've talked about that before. Each fighter has their own style.
Yeah, yeah.
So
everybody have their own style. But I was really impressed with Paddy the Baddy. I didn't expect him to finish Chandler, and I wasn't like surprised that Paddy the Baddy won the fight, but I was shocked that he finished him.
What do you think if Conor and Paddy the Baddy fought? Who would win that?
Oh damn! You know that goes to youth versus age, right? you got to factor in that, and I like both fighters, so I'm not gonna ever disrespect my comrades and stuff like that. But I think it'd be a great fight. I think that'll probably be like one of the highest grossing fights of the year. I tell you that
without a
much.
doubt.
I can say that.
Without
I ain't gonna say
Yeah.
who I would think would win, because I think that's very disrespectful. You don't understand when I say that. You don't think that's disrespectful for one fighter to say
Okay.
like, you know what I'm saying, who you think, oh, he'll beat his ass.
The old bear would just start some chaos right now. But I'll tell you respectfully, I do, but I do feel that that's why people watch guys like you or DC or Chael Sonnen, because they do want to hear your personal opinion because you're a champion or you're someone who has done it, and they just want to know what you think.
I ain't DC or your male crush Chael Sonnen.
I think Chael Sonnen's the funniest guy on the internet.
He ain't fucking
he is
funny.
the best guy on the internet.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. I tried to watch one of his interviews on TikTok with those funny glasses on, and because he is good at talking to the camera, doing the shit by himself. But I'm the type of person, I have the short attention span, and he wouldn't get to the point.
That's what he does. He keeps you lured
Yeah,
in
fuck
the whole
that.
time.
I'm like,
and then at the end, he sends you goodbye.
Yeah, fuck that. That's not my style.
All right, lately we've been seeing Izzy training with David Goggins. Is this good or bad news for Izzy? We saw Tony Ferguson do a big camp with David Goggins. We know David Goggins knows how to train and push your body to the limits. Do you think that this is too intense for Izzy? Do you think this is more of a mindset thing for Izzy? You think Izzy's going to come back? What do you think the meaning behind this is?
Well, I think Izzy he's probably like really determined to make a strong comeback. And I don't see no harm in training with what's his name? David Goggles.
David Goggins.
David Goggins, because I feel like that would give you a lot more work ethic. But this is what fighters don't understand. Like sometimes when you start doing all the different type of training, you still got to focus on your martial arts. So as long as he still make time to focus on his martial arts and stuff like that, yeah, train with David Goggles. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, that guy's a beast, man. That guy is like, you know, he probably like one of the toughest men on the planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I heard the guy can run for days and do all this stuff, and you know, Navy SEALs, stuff like that. But does that translate over to, you know, being locked in a cage with another man and throwing these bungalows? Because that changes everything.
From the what?
The bungalows.
And you're referring to what?
The fist, man.
Just wondering.
Use
Just making sure.
context clues. I got my hands.
I know. I didn't know if you were doing this or what you were doing. What do you think about the opinion of someone saying at what point in your career is enough MMA, enough sparring, enough jiu-jitsu? You already have your core base there. It's more about the technique of your mindset and your cardio and your endurance and your strength training, and that that other stuff can kind of be set aside. Do you think that's true or
No, I disagree. I disagree with that. Although, like I said, I haven't done jiu-jitsu in 5 years and gi in 20 years, and I went and I did okay. The Wednesday I went and I did really good, and I haven't trained or anything, but that was just rolling around, and who knows? Those guys was probably taking it easy on me because I was live streaming. Coach Gazia probably told those guys, don't embarrass them, because you know the Brazilians are all about respect, something that we don't have. You know what I'm saying? We don't tap like the Brazilians. They don't tap and tell, but we do, Americans. So that being said, I think that you gotta train what you're gonna be in there doing. You gotta do it. Like if you're gonna fight somebody that's a really strong wrestler, and even if you are a good wrestler, and you know what I'm saying, you be like, no, I'm not gonna train wrestling that much. I'm gonna work on my striking more. Then your opponent could have like a advantage over you in wrestling. We saw it when we went to the UFC here in Anaheim with Henry Cejudo versus
Marab.
Marab surprised all of us, and he out wrestled him. And you know, we thinking like, oh, maybe Henry had an injury or something. And I think you know that's important. You gotta do what you go be in there doing. You gotta train jiu-jitsu. You gotta train your kickboxing, boxing, wrestling. You gotta do it. But then MMA this is why it's so tough. This is why MMA is so tough. You only got 24 hours in a day, and you got to sleep at least like what 7 to 8 of those days
minimum.
How many hours? How many hours you gonna put towards training? Like I used to train 6 hours a day,
all day long.
6 hours.
Like in a row, or
no,
take breaks?
not yet. No,
Okay.
not. Like I would train 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, and 2 hours at night.
That's a lot of training.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. And if you training with David Goggles, how you gonna have time? Oh, y'all keep fucking with
David
me.
Goggins.
Yeah, how you gonna have enough time to do your martial arts?
And martial arts is something that constantly has to be refined, constantly has to be worked on, right?
So it's a happy medium.
I see what you're saying. You got to find the balance.
Yeah, so I would train with David Goggins for maybe three times a week.
Yeah.
Get you know.
Yeah.
And then still do my
or maybe a small little 2-week camp, reset your mind, get ready, and then go into real fight camp.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Next we have DDP versus Hamzat. Seems like a done deal. I think everybody was talking about DDP going to be out. They were going to bring in the nerd Kaio, but then I guess that it was a rumor. DDP's not really hurt with a shin injury, and he's fighting, and he's going to be fighting Hamzat. What do you think? Who do you think wins, DDP or Hamzat?
DDP versus Kumslut. That's a really really good matchup.
Yeah. I mean, we saw what DDP did in the last couple fights. He put on some clinics, right?
Yeah. DDP, he got that dog in him too. You know what I'm saying? He's really good, but we all know Kumslut is a beast.
He's a different animal.
And
I feel like that is a good matchup for Hamzat and DDP because they both apply the pressure. They both stay on their feet. And then if they want to go down, they could go down. But I mean, I think staying on their feet, I think DDP is going to throw some hands while Hamzat. I'm excited to see them exchange.
Who you think wins that one? What's your feeling?
I honestly think that we don't see Hamzat really get pushed. I feel like he has his way with everybody. So when he fights, I feel like he kind of does what he wants to do, and he really just applies pressure. And then he kind of just like will either take him down or put him where they want. It doesn't seem like anybody really gives him a battle. It doesn't seem like anybody's throwing him off his game plan. Seems like he went in there with an agenda and he does it seamlessly. DDP seems like a guy who can just adjust on the fly, and we've seen it. He seems like a guy who can stand in the pocket. He seems like a guy who can apply the pressure and not keep stepping back, throwing jab. He applies every time he throws. He'll come with a jab, throw right, then move forward. We don't see him like back off a lot. I think that's like two matchups that they're not mismatches, but it's two matchups that apply crazy exchanges.
But how is DDP's ground game?
I think it's good.
It's really good.
I think it's good. I think it's good enough to be a champion and defend that belt a few times. But I think that what needs to happen is I think what we need to see is some exchanges, go to the ground, then get back up, and then go to the ground again and see who has the cardio.
Yeah,
who could get pushed back those second and third downs and ups, and see what happens then.
But is his ground game better than Kumslut Jamaj's?
I mean, we saw Hamzat and Luke Rockhold's wrestling just a few weeks ago. There's a video going viral, and Luke was showing us some behind the scenes. I'm sure Wayne could pull it up. Hamzat is doing jiu-jitsu with Luke Rockhold, who's probably one of the best athletes the UFC's ever seen, and his jiu-jitsu game is insane. And Luke was training to fight Joe Schilling at the time, which he ended up winning. And you see him and Hamzat are putting up a great battle. They kind of like, both respectfully stop. I don't think anybody really got anybody, but I mean, he has great jiu-jitsu. You can tell, and his wrestling.
But who's better, DDP's or Jamaji's?
I think Hamzat. I think Hamzat wins, but I don't think he wins like dominantly. I think it's going to be a scrap.
Okay. I'm really. When is that fight going down?
I believe it's supposed to be in, what is it, Wayne, 1 month?
Wayne has no idea.
Yeah, David, is it 1 month, the DDP Hamzat fight? 1 month left?
David has no idea.
Yeah, David, that's why you're in here, brother. You're not in here just to keep your... Look, he's supposed to be on the Jackson Podcast Discord, but his laptop's closed. How's that going to work?
June?
Yeah, June. All right, cool.
So they're going to
fight
fight in June?
Month and a half.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to see that.
But I was excited to see Kyle, our boy fighting nerd. He was supposed to be on as the replacement. They said that I guess it was a big rumor, but I would have been excited to see Kyle fight for the belt. I want to see one of the nerds go win the belt. They're crazy.
Man, those guys.
Gene Silva submitted me in 2 seconds.
Man,
I passed out.
You
The video's going viral.
you didn't really pass
I
out.
passed out. This one, when we were sitting here, I passed out. That one, when we were over there, I just fell to my knees because I didn't want him to keep going. Bro, he just laughs. What? What?
You fell to your knees?
Wow, I was practicing technique, brother. I was learning technique all week.
Man, you got to learn
jiu-jitsu all
how to
week.
stay off your knees, brother. You got to learn how to stay off your knees.
We were doing so good.
Yeah, don't fall to your knees.
I appreciate the technique talk, and I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. And we're gonna keep it at that.
Yeah, but those nerds, bro, they're next level. I've met 2 of them so far, and I like both of them, and I think they're all going to be champs one day.
Oh yeah, I think what's cool about them is they move as a pack, but they do things individually, so they don't get probably tired of each other. But they kind of move as a pack, as a real team. It reminds me of like those old school teams, like shoot box teams or like Punishment. Yeah. It's like we haven't seen one of these really dominant teams in a long time.
Yeah. Back in my day, shootbox team was like the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you see, they know about them, but they're like, no, we're our own guys. Not disrespectfully, but it's kind of hard body the way they behave. Like, it is what it is.
The way their thought process on everything, where they break stuff down and everything, they're next level. I think that's the movement of MMA. I think a lot of people are going to go that way because technology is so good, and I'm listening to these kids, and they like really breaking down their opponents on levels, and Mighty Mouse, he's always been ahead of the game, stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And John Jones was on it. He was on that level too, like the way he be breaking down. But the nerds and stuff like that, I think they're going to take that style of breaking down fighters and being like methodical about their opponents and stuff. I think they're going to take that to the next level. So I'm seeing like in the next 10 years, we're going to see a whole different level of MMA, a whole different level of fighting, because look at boxing, how boxing is. Can you imagine what boxing used to be back in the day? You remember there wasn't no rounds, and they didn't even have gloves. And look at what boxing is today. Like a lot of us, we don't know what boxing was like 80 years ago.
100%.
And we don't know what boxing was like even 50 years ago. And 100%. Like the movements and stuff and how they use. So now MMA is evolving so fast, and I'm right here in my lifetime seeing it, because I've been involved in this game for almost 25 years, and I've seen how much it evolved. And these nerds, I'm looking at, I'm like, they're going to take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I think one thing the nerds are doing that no one is taking into account, it's not just the way they're using AI or technology to help put together their fights. I think it's the way they put together their camps too, and who they're bringing in and how they're bringing them in. I mean, they gave us some good insight off camera. Obviously, we don't need to talk about it, but it's very interesting to see how a new team of that many fighters, so many different divisions could put together a camp. I feel like that's going to be a big thing coming up in the next couple of years, is how people put together their camps.
When you gonna dip into that and get yourself like a MMA team squad?
Well, I think we've already kind of put one together. We have our head coach of jiu-jitsu, Bernardo. We have our head boxing coach, Yogi. We have Perillo's running his team right now, which is Luke and Cheeto and Mackenzie Dern and Santiago and Nick.
I know, but you doing it for fighters that's already in the UFC and stuff like that. But you should get some up and coming fighters and
Well, you've been a big fan. You've been a big proponent of saying, let's get in talent that hasn't made it to the UFC and help them mold by giving them the best coaches. I think now that we have the Santo Performance Studio and we have the new gym and we have the new mats, I think, with the ability, we have the Santo Studio brand. It's in every Nordstrom nationwide. And now we have the team to support it of skaters and moto and jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts and boxing. So as that brand grows and now we build a gym for that and the recovery center, we have the Jackson Media House. I think all the opportunity, all the vibes are coming together on one block here in Newport Beach.
I think it's very important for up and coming fighters to have a facility like that, because that's one thing that I've been saying for years. We need like physios and a place to, like where you can train. And then as soon as you get fucked up on the mat, something like that, you go right here, you got an ice tub and you got a guy.
I think it's amazing too. We pay a full-time head coach of physical therapy, a doctor of physical therapy, Cody. Yeah. But we have a good squad here.
I'm telling you,
TJ's going to be running a pro class once a week, starting in June. Yeah. Once a week for all of our fighters and up and coming fighters. So maybe it'll be during that time.
Yeah, you should get some up and comers and get them and see if you can put them on the road to UFC. And that's a good thing for you to do behind you got a lot of footage.
100%.
Yeah, a lot of content.
And I think the Jackson podcast, the Behind the Brand, is a good way for us to showcase all that talent, because now we can have them in here. People can see who they are and their character.
Yeah, because I'm doing that with the UFL.
Oh, yeah, you have a team, you versus Henry Cejudo. I saw a video. Yeah, what is that? Why did he call you out?
Oh, because I said he looked like Eddie Monster.
Who's Eddie Monster?
Yeah, before your time. You ever heard of the Monsters? No. They was kind of like the Addams family.
Wayne, Google Eddie Monster.
They was kind of like the Addams family.
That's who you think Henry Cejudo looks like?
That's who Henry Cejudo looked like.
No, bro. And what did Henry Cejudo said when you said that?
Oh, he said I look like, what you talking about, Willis? That little monster.
Put that up. What you talking about, Willis? Let me see who that looked like.
What's his name? Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman?
I look nothing like Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman. That's who. Oh my God. Oh, you kind of do look like
Gary Coleman. You got me fucked up.
No,
man.
You kind of do.
I don't look nothing like him.
You kind of do. You kind of. I pulled the one with the leather jacket and the shades right there. Yeah, that's how Rampage goes.
Shut the fuck up.
What's the taco place you always go to?
I don't look nothing like him.
What's that taco place you like? You took Marab there after he won in UFC.
Oh, you talking about
Taco?
What's the name of it? That's not a.
How can I remember it?
It's not a.
The restaurant. How do I not know your favorite restaurant?
Bro, that's not
Taco
a taco.
Ensenada, Taco Olas.
No. Listen, so my
Wait,
team.
what is the restaurant? How do I not know? You did a victory party there for Marab. You had him on your shoulders.
No,
and Luke Rockhold was drunk in an Uber coming home.
I had nothing to do with that.
Hey,
I was just.
Yeah, it's in Fullerton. What's it called? Taco Ensenada? Taco Nacho?
Lagos.
That's Rampage's favorite restaurant. It's where he takes all his dates. If you guys ever want to see Rampage on Friday night, the back booth at Taco Lagos in Fullerton.
It's not called Taco
Rampage
Lagos.
is over there eating enchiladas while his girl's ordering deep fried ice cream. Yeah. All right, so listen, we got a few podcast questions people asked in the Jackson Podcast Discord. I'm going to rifle through these. The first one is, Rampage, do you know Ligma? Rampage, do you know Ligma? Is the first question from the Jackson Podcast Discord.
How come that's not on my sheet?
Okay. So do you want to move past that one?
Yeah, we're moving past that one.
What are your thoughts on the Jackson Podcast Discord?
Y'all funny as fuck. Y'all got some good jokes. I like that, but I ain't gonna lie, I don't keep it 100. I keep forgetting to go in there and check y'all out, because I actually y'all giving me some more jokes to tell on Bear, because I'm running out of materials. But it seemed like you guys chose sides with him, because ain't nobody gave me no more material.
But bro, they have so many videos of you dancing overseas in Europe. They have videos of you doing jujitsu, being fed grapes by your stylist. Like, there's so much stuff there for us. It's like,
Yeah, you guys it seems like you guys like trolling me.
No, they're not trolling.
And they don't. I don't see y'all making fun of Bear at all. So right now, I feel like a little betrayed. I thought, I thought I would be the fan favorite.
You are the fan favorite. That's why we're doing this podcast Discord, is so that way people could talk to you and we can all kind of get together. The next question is, do you think Big Cheese is intimidating to you?
Yeah, Big Cheese is very intimidating, because he's such a small dude, but his hands are bigger than mine. Like what? Why?
Okay, next question. Have you ever thought about moving to Japan?
Hell yeah. I thought about moving to Japan several times. I was actually even thinking about it last night. And I'm thinking about moving to Vietnam as well, because Vietnam is kind of close to Japan. I'm thinking about buying a house in Vietnam and a condo in Japan, but Japan got too many earthquakes. But
you just bought a brand new house and your backyard looks insane.
Yeah, but Japan population is dying down. I can go over there and just pregnate all the little thick Japanese.
Okay. We're not doing any more baby rampages running around the city.
Come
it's
on,
like
man.
Jurassic Park with the main T-Rex and then 40 other T-Rexes running around.
Bear, think
oh my
about
God,
it.
look at this video of you eating grapes in a jacuzzi in
Come
your
on,
new house.
chill the fuck up.
Have you
Chill
ever
the
thought
fuck
about
up.
getting fighters on your kick stream to fight against you or with you?
No, I never thought of. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I might do some sparring. I might do some sparring on my kick stream. Go around sparring fighters, but then, like I said, man, I'm kind of older, and these young fighters, they might try to fuck me up just because stream there, and then y'all gonna be trolling me because even on my own stream, everybody trolling me.
How do you feel they're trolling you?
They be making fun of me.
Okay. I don't think anybody's making fun of you. I think they just enjoy talking to you. Next is, if you could go back in time and fight one fight over again, which one would it be?
Shogun.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why him?
Because I took that fight when I was injured, and I should have pulled out.
In what way should you have pulled out?
I should have pulled out. Like your dad should have did, so you wouldn't be here asking me these motherfucking questions.
You and my dad fought
No, never fought your dad.
in Japan or in the U.S.?
Never fought your dad, but that fight with Shogun is like, even my last fight too. Fuck that fight too. Those two fights are my worst fights ever.
Your last fight, you were sick. I don't think anybody knows that, right? You had a blown thyroid and you had a...
Yeah, but still, when you get inside there, it don't matter. I didn't even know that I was that bad off. I didn't even know I was that unhealthy.
You had like a deconstructed scrotum or something, right? Something was wrong with your right? Isn't that what it was?
You're gonna make fun of my misfortune,
Not making fun of the misfortune. I'm just making
you're gonna
sure
make
I'm
fun
on
of
the
my
same
health.
page as you.
Yeah, no, you're gonna make fun of my health.
Was something with you deconstructed?
Nothing was deconstructed.
You were ravaged internally and it had to get sewn back up, right? All right. Next question we have, it says, how many tortas does Rampage consume a week? And if so, how does he keep the weight off?
I know who asked that question, and that was David. I know that was him.
Okay.
I never smashed a torta, but for kick, I will go and rid some up though, because that shit is funny.
Next question. Do you believe you have real riz, or is it just because you're famous, rich, and big?
Yeah, I don't got no riz in Orange County. But I tell y'all what, if y'all go to different states with me, y'all will see the real riz. But these Orange County girls, I can't figure them out.
Yeah, we saw the video of you at the Hooters in Fort Lauderdale. You were really doing the most. You were... how would you think Steven Seagal would do if he fought in the UFC?
Okay, what weight class was Steven Seagal? Now I gotta get detail in this question. That's a good one.
I would say probably light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight?
Yeah.
Okay, what prime Steven Seagal?
Prime Steven Seagal, black white beater with the black puffy pants and the jeans and chasing people through the alley
Yeah. With all due respect to Steven Seagal.
But that doesn't take away anything bad you're about to say, so maybe just go straight into it.
He would get fucked up at 205. I'm sorry.
Have you seen what he does to people?
On movies, yeah. Steven Seagal, I'm gonna tell you something about Steven Seagal. All right. It's rumors, it's all rumors, but it's from really like valid people who don't got no reason to lie. He's like one of those guys that will hurt people on movie sets doing martial arts.
Really?
Yeah. So he's like one of those martial artists that has an ego. One thing you guys need to know about people that do martial arts, a lot of people that does martial arts, they have a big ego with their martial art. A lot of fighters and stuff too, like they could be the coolest person off the mat and stuff like that, outside the cage, but when it comes to them doing a martial art and stuff like that, it comes with a big ego. And I've always been honest and told people, I'm not a martial artist, I'm a brawler and stuff like that. I'm different. I don't have an ego when it comes to my martial art because I seen it, right? So his ego would get him fucked up in the UFC.
Do you feel that a lot of people that do have ego, this is a serious question, try to overcompensate by maybe...
A small penis? I don't care if they got a small penis or not. Why do you care?
I was going to say by making content
Ask the question again because I
Like
jumped the gun.
we talked about this off camera that a lot of people who believe they're really good at fighting or teaching technique, they just make a lot of content, but they never do it in real life. Like,
Oh yeah.
we talked about this yesterday. So do you feel like, is that why maybe like we're watching these instructional videos? Do you think we see so many of these, but we don't see them in live combat?
Oh my God, yeah. Have you guys seen those videos on Instagram and TikTok of these old fat guys showing like touchless moves and shit? Like so,
I sent that to the one guy that goes, my energy's on, my energy's off.
Yeah.
Hey, do you believe that's real?
No.
Okay.
No.
So he's just making up fake
they
videos.
make it because it's been times where I don't know how people talk them into it, but they put them in a gym and they put them in a ring or put them in a cage with a real fighter or something. They get fucked up every time. But this is what the problem is. These guys, they're masters, they're mastres or they're senseis, and they have their loyal subjects, and it's hard for me to explain. It's like they look up to you so much that they would do like almost anything for you, and you look up to them like you put them like
pedestal,
like almost up there like a god, almost, right?
Yeah.
And so it's been countless times when I meet people and they'll come and tell me their martial art that I never heard of before, and then they say, "Oh, you probably know my master," and they'll say his name. Like, I never know this, and they get upset that you don't know their master.
Like you're supposed to know every black belt, every jiu-jitsu athlete.
Yeah,
I've seen guys come up to you when we're at the fair and they're like, "Oh, you trained with my boy." Like what, 20 years ago? How are you supposed to remember?
Yeah, how you supposed to remember? So those guys that have that following. It's their dojos, their gym. Like you come to this gym, you have a big ego. You're gonna respect me. I'm your master. They want all these loyal subjects, and then they go out there and they tell me, "Oh, I can bend you over with my energy, and I can make you
aggressive.
follow."
Those videos are aggressive.
Yeah.
Those should be flagged.
They should be flagged, and those guys, you're right, and they always fat, nasty, out of shapeys, and that ain't right.
Out of shapeys. Out of shapeys. That's a good one. I'll make sure I remember that one. The next one says, would Rampage be interested in doing an escape room with Bear with GoPros on? Me and you in an escape room next week in Irvine.
As long as you keep your clothes on, I'm down. Because you come.
I will do whatever it takes to help us win.
No, not take your clothes. Because you come out of your clothes too fast sometimes, even here in the podcast.
Well, I have to do the Pancreas Boss Rutan or Mark Coleman, or I like to do the Pride Frank.
I think that's
and
actually.
Ken Shamrock.
I think that's actually a good idea, but we have to sign contracts that you would not take off not one garment, not even a hat.
Whatever you want me to do, I'll have to do in the middle of the room. If I have to strip down, I'll strip down.
No. That was part of the stipulation.
Next week, me and you are doing an escape room, and we're gonna get out of there live. But we're gonna GoPro. Look at this. Look at these fights. I mean, we went to war with Johnny Walker. Remember that? Yeah, you looked incredible. We're watching the Jackson Behind the Brand right now. Some of these episodes are getting crazy, by the way. Who is more annoying, Queen Mo, Shannon Briggs, or Cutman Tate? That's what they want to know. Who?
Cutman Tate is the most annoying friend I got now.
Why do you?
He's my friend. I like him. He's funny. King Mo was not annoying. King Mo wasn't annoying because he didn't say much. He was just a bitch. And Shannon Briggs. Shannon Briggs was annoying for a little bit. He's funny though. Like he met my match on. I had to meet my match on talking shit. But Shannon Briggs is actually a really good dude, and he actually really funny. But now Tate is annoying because Tate texted me 6 o'clock in the morning, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, he just say "fuck you," and now he's like trolling me on a whole nother level.
Well, he trolls you on every Instagram post and every kick stream you do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting to see someone of your caliber of trolling get you.
Yeah, he's annoying.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. We'll move on from that one. Next question is Mike Perry. Can we get him on here as a guest?
I asked Mike Perry to come on the podcast. I really wanted him on as a guest. I love Mike Perry, and he said, "Oh, I gotta check with my people."
Okay, Mike Perry, we want to get you on the podcast, please.
And I dropped it. I know what that means. So I was like, oh, okay, I understand. So I'm not going to ask my friends. I asked people one time. I'm not going to ask twice because I feel like you bugging people, you begging. I don't beg anybody.
I like that. That works. Next question is: do you prefer coffee or tea?
Tit tea.
What does that mean?
I prefer. I know you don't know what those are, but that's what I prefer.
But what does that mean?
Tit tea. Do you know what a tit tea
No,
is?
no, I don't. And I would love to
sure,
get. I'm looking it up on Google, but it's not seeming to come up. I'm just seeing a
sure.
bunch of photos that don't seem like coffee or tea.
No, have you ever seen tit teas before?
I can't say I have. Rampage.
I believe it.
Do you want to kind of break that down for the audience? What that means?
They're milk. You get natural milk out of them.
So you like milk?
Yeah, I do.
Whole Foods Pavilion's your place of choice to buy it.
I like the free nip. I like the free
You
milk.
like freak milk? Where do
freak
you buy
milk.
freak milk?
I didn't say freak milk.
Where do you
Freak.
find freak milk? David, pull up freak milk on Postmates. See if they Uber it here.
Yeah, milk tea.
Oh, milk tea. Oh, like 85 degrees.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good milk tea. That's why they drink it
Yeah.
in England.
I love milk tea from 85 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay, last two questions. Have you ever thought about power bombing Luke Rockhold or TJ Dillashaw during a podcast?
No, never. That's never crossed my mind.
Have you ever thought about wrestling Luke Rockhold in an oil match in Turkey, the same place where he went with Craig Jones?
Never crossed my mind.
At all?
At all. Not once.
Would you be interested? What is this, Wayne?
A half-naked bear jumping around in front of a bunch of dudes.
Well, no, this was me getting ready for Pancreas because this is how I'd come out. Pancreas, look it. That's how I'd come out for
Hey,
Pancreas.
I just saw TJ looking at your junk. He
I
checked
know.
that. He checked out your package.
TJ, that was a little too crazy.
TJ
That's the Wild Society protein going to TJ's
Well,
head.
I think he was just sizing you up to make sure he was bigger than you. That's what. It
Well, I
seemed
told
like.
TJ I would spar him with one arm, and TJ said that he'd still be able to beat me. I said, not a chance.
No. He would.
What?
Yeah, one arm. Yeah,
What do you mean?
he would.
Bro, you think TJ Dillashaw will be able to beat me with only one arm?
With him, yeah,
Have you seen me train?
yeah. That's why I'm saying it.
You have no faith.
No, not.
All right. Hey, Wayne, book it for the next Jackson podcast, Behind the Brand. Me versus TJ Dillashaw. We're going sparring. We're going to talk about that on YouTube Live.
TJ, and look, we can tie TJ arm behind his back, and he still would beat the fuck out you.
I'm going to just pretend that I'm not hearing any of this because as your friend, your fellow co-host, and someone who's always supported you, I feel like you're not giving me any chance of survival here.
Well, Bear, see, look, this is the thing about me. I try to be as honest as I can possibly be.
That's what we love about you.
And so I'm keeping it real. You get the shit beat out of you.
I'm going to pretend you're not saying any of this.
Okay.
And we're gonna jump right into the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackson Podcast, we have a brand new show called the Jackson Behind the Brand. We try to give you guys a little behind the scenes of the jiu-jitsu, the training, the skate, the moto, the surf, a lot of the training with Armin, Mighty Mouse, Coach Yogi, Coach Bernardo, Perillo, everybody mixing it in. We also have a lot of the sessions with Rampage, how everybody's training in the gym and what we're doing. So make sure you guys go and subscribe and check that out. We also will be doing more of the news sections and more things of what's going on and bringing on guests for that. I think, David, before we go, we printed out some things that were exciting that we saw. We just kind of want to show these to Rampage and play a little game of what is this, and we'll see what Rampage could do. And tell us right here, David.
What's going on, David?
No, it's just before we get out of here. So Rampage, we have this first printout. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see this? David? Rampage, let's all focus. Rampage, stop it. I have fast reaction time since I've been training with TJ. So anything you want to say or should we move on? Okay, we'll move on. Not a big deal.
That's me doing jiu-jitsu.
Next one is, what type of technique is this?
We was drilling moves. Have you ever done a jiu-jitsu class?
Yeah, but what's that?
So you drilling.
But what's that? Look at your phalanges all pointed up and, hard. Why you got your toes like that?
Because I got ugly feet.
Okay. Not a big deal. Okay, the next one is first thing that comes to your mind when you see this photo.
Let's go, champ.
Yeah, you miss him?
No, he's like a chocolatey goat.
You don't. He look like a what?
Chocolatey goat.
Oh, what is that?
A chocolate goat.
Oh, so you think he's the best ever?
No, like a real goat.
Okay. First thing that comes to your mind when you see this says Rampage wasted at Sharky's.
I look like
Shannon Briggs.
Juvenile. I look like Juvenile.
No, you look exactly like Shannon Briggs, and that's what we wanted to point. We wanted to say, no wonder you guys don't get along. You're best friends.
Let's go, champ!
Let's go, champ! You guys are best friends. Let's go, champ! Okay, we'll just move past that. That's not a big deal. You know it's not a big deal. Now, what is this with Coach Sean Rez? What do we call this technique? Because I just want to point out something to the audience at home. In no way, shape, or form does Coach Cody, our performance, strength, and conditioning doctor, teach this technique. And you seem excited to be off your toes, but Sean Rez is just staring right at you. That's your strength and conditioning coach. What do we call this? All right, we'll just move past it. It's not a big deal. You don't even have to. And then the last one is, why does Sean have to touch your arm? What is Sean measuring? All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching the first episode of Jackson Podcast, MMA News Hour and Questions. I'm your host, Bear Degidio. It's my greatest co-host of all time, Rampage Jackson. Thanks for watching.